Maison Nivard-De Saint-Dizier. We have arrived. Bienvenue au fief de Verdun. So the borough of Verdun was actually a fiefdom given to the mayor of Montreal in 1671. His name was Zachary Dupuis. A stone house was built here. This house was most likely built in 1710 by the religious congregation of Notre-Dame. So this is back when Montreal was still known as Ville-Marie. It says ouvert, which is open in French. Entering this early 1700s house. Wood pieces are the originals. The stone walls are the originals. There have been modifications in this house. This actually used to be one of the entrances, and then later owners converted it into a window. This basically acts as a museum talking about the history of this house, the history of the area, and the history of the island of Montreal. One of the oldest remaining houses on the island of Montreal. Here we have a model of the house, and here we have a bit of an explanation of how the wood pieces hold together. So there's actually no nails involved in holding the wood together. So it was basically a system of kind of like wooden puzzles, I guess, going one into the other and holding everything together, being much more solid than had it been nails. Very interesting, very knowledgeable guide in there. So interestingly, this is a stone house, and Montreal is known to have a lot of wooden housing, which famously or infamously burnt during the Great Montreal Fire sometime in the 1800s. And so apparently the wooden houses were actually more practical and cheaper to make, and so that's why most people had wooden houses, but it was still considered more prestigious to have stone housing. And so that's why this man who was offered this fiefdom of Verdun decided to build a stone house. This is, I was told by the guide, a house in the style of houses built in the region of Brittany, Bretagne, in France. And so Montreal would have had many houses like this. You can see from the outside the double chimney, most likely for the practical reasons of really having to keep the house warm, because they were building these really thick stone walls. The guide told me they were about 2 feet wide, but they were basically solid stone. There was no space in between the walls for insulation, and so it apparently took them a bit of time to figure out how to properly insulate stone houses, but they kept building them if they could afford them for the prestige.